think we know everybody in the channel now. Hey, DeFi Dad. Hey guys, welcome to AladdinDAO BanklessDAO co-hosted research meeting. Today we will have Mr. Block to present a GameFi project, Zverse. Mr. Block is the most influential YouTuber in Chinese community. He is also an Aladdin Boule member. He has provided most comprehensive education on Curve and the Curve wars. He has like about 50 video recorded on Curve and the Curve ecosystem, and a very well respected community leader in the Chinese world. Yeah, so I'll pass it to Mr. Block, and maybe you want to do a bit more self-intro, yeah, and kick off the project.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, hi everyone. Everyone from BanklessDAO and AladdinDAO. It's a pleasure to be here to present GameFi that I really enjoy. And a quick intro about myself. Just like Sheldon said, I've been creating crypto-related video since 2016. And I've made over 500 videos so far, mainly around DeFi. So I've been talking about SNX, Thorchain, Aave when it was to call ETHLend, then Lend, help people understand how to farm Wi-Fi and Curve when it first started. So later I joined Curve and then mainly focus on the Asian community. So I built, for example, the Curve wiki page where you can learn everything about Curve, mainly in Chinese. We recently started in English as well. And then, I maintain the main Curve Dune Analytic. We have a new because there's limitation in Doom, but I also built an on-chain analysis that's not on Doom that will be released somewhere this year. Also, the first airdrop page, there's a lot of airdrop for VCRV holder, so people can easily claim. And yeah, and also Twitter page. A big NFT collector. Joined PleaserDAO and several NFT DAO early and promoting NFT last year to talk about NFT and so on. Yeah, so I was going over some of the previous Boule members video. So I was thinking like there's so many DeFi video, and the market is kind of in a shenanigan. So I was hoping that maybe we can light everyone up and talk about something that's not too serious and a bit more fun. So I decided to talk about a GameFi that I've been helping out, helping them build a community, and it's one of a very interesting GameFi that I think represent a lot about like Minecraft, Roblox, Terraria. For those of you that don't know Terraria, it's a game that came out since 2011. It's one of the most downloaded game on Steam. Has over 36 million purchase, and it finished building a game, like officially, I think in 2018 or 2019. But people can already start playing since 2011. And that's one of the cool thing about Terraria is that people that are playing it are part of the contributor, where Terraria will build some of the craziest thing you can imagine, and you can kind of build with them. You don't have to be a developer. You don't have to be oh, by the way, is my stream still going? Okay, cool. Yeah, so you don't have to be, you can just like contribute and then, or even write a comic book or write a story, and you'll see it in the game, right? So that's kind of the background and narrative of Zverse. So similarly to Terraria, where it has PCG, procedural content generation, where you basically has limitless map. Zverse has this thing called discovery mode that's also using this function that allows you to basically discover the Zverse map, and you have basically all types of map, from desert, forest, ice, ocean, and so on. And you get to own some of these lands. And with lands, you can farm these voxels that allows you to build the Z monster, basically. So I'll demo the game later. Basically, there are people that build their own kind of like Doodle or Bored Ape, and basically their favorite NFT just through the creator tool. This is the creator tool. So you can basically drop, and then you farm these voxel. There are voxel token that you farm by owning the lands. Yeah, so the game has 3 different modes. One is the discovery mode that I mentioned earlier, and one is the PvE, PvP mode. And lastly, it's the basically farming, where you own your own lobby, and you can. It looks kind of like this. So you can own the lobby, and then you build your own lobby, and you can sell stuff. We'll come back to that a bit later. And yeah, so you can, every Z has like defense, attack, critical. This is for PvE mode. And people that don't like to play the competitive can just build their own lobby and then farm stuff, because all the Z has different attributes. So there are Z that are like fire Z, and they will need fire potion to heal them, basically. So in order to get a fire potion, you need to have a fire or volcano land that can farm those voxel. So there will be people that will own a lot of those lands, and if they know certain Z is doing super well, there are certain bosses fight that you will need certain type of element to win easily. Yeah, so Z can upgrade into multiple level. These are designed Z by the team and the community. So right now you can, just give us images of your favorite Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Digimon or any, backroom character, anything, and then they will, the team, and there's a lot of community member that are good at 3D design that will help you generate your favorite character inside. So a big part of Zverse is creator economy, where we have already have the community to create over 500 different type of Z with like all type of crazy elements and ability that I'll showcase later. So one of the idea is kind of like Pokemon, where you can catch all of them and try to own them. So some of these certain Z, let's say you created your own favorite Z, that will require someone to go to your land to find that Z monster. So that's kind of the Animal Crossing part, which it's a huge game in Asia, and kind of create that social fi element. Zverse also has its own marketplace, but you can also trade it on OpenSea. But certain Z will only be traded here. This goes into its token economic, where it earns, royalty fees, trading fee, and so on up here. The social fi element is the lobby. So we recently just host an event. Actually, I can drop the link right now if you want to hang out in the lobby with me later. So we can, each server can hold around 10,000 player. They have, they recently just launched the mobile version that people can hang out and kind of check out each other's lobby. Yeah, so I talk about the creator economy. This is it, and a lot of community building art, where they build all types of crazy islands, crazy lands and so on that are that will be added into the game. Yeah, so the game currently is on Windows, Mac OS, Android, and recently just launched the iOS version. This is what it looks like on iOS. Let me just scroll down a little bit. Let me see if I have it here. Oh yeah, here it is. So this is the iOS version on phone that you can play. Yeah, so now I will show you the game. And later I'll show you a video of the discovery mode. So this is a game. You can go to the website now and just click play now on web browser. And if you play on Windows now, it requires you to use chain safe. So it will require you to sign a transaction on MetaMask. You will need a Z mask to play the game. It's an NFT. It's traded on OpenSea right now for each is like $50. So you need that to play the game. But the web browser one, you don't need it right now. But in the future, you will need that to access the game. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, you can play the game now. Hang out in the lobby. And let me turn on the music. You can like change the sound, the ambience, the graphic. Change your name. Let's say Bankless. And you can hang out, chat. Hello world. And they recently added these emoji. You can also create these yourself as well. And they had a partnership with Arcade.inc, which is also GameFi. And then so this kind of shows you like different type of partnership that you can display in your lobby. And this is a grass and like forest, desert type of land. All the items in here are movable. And another interesting thing is that you can, for example, change your Z. So let's say you want to change it to this guy, and then it shows up. And there are also interactions that you can do. So for example, you want to write on this thing, you can as well. And to go to battle, there are in the future we'll have discovery mode where you can like go into these type of fountain and it takes you to like a dungeon. There were secret mission during the first alpha test that was here, and different places. And yeah, so when you click here, you go into the PvE mode where shows you like Z and potential egg that you can get. So you earn these egg. They're like mystery box. And down the music a little bit. So these egg are already traded now on OpenSea, where you can stake these egg and earn rewards. So there are different people that are already staking these eggs. It's a soft staking right now. So, but if you remove it, you lose all your points. So these points equals to rewards. So if you're in the top 10, you can get at least one LAN. So LAN equals to the map that you're seeing right now. If you don't have a LAN, you'll just come to one of the beginner map and LAN. But right now, everyone is in this map as a beginner lobby. Yeah. So staking is a good way to minimize kind of the sell pressure for these NFTs. So it gives its first-hand utility. It will become hard staking in the future, and it will mint basically a proof token that can be detectable once you connect your wallet, and it will show your account with that NFT. Yeah. So yeah, I'll show you the the new discovery mode that has just been launched. That hasn't launched, but is launching soon. Yeah. So this is the video. So the discovery mode are just like kind of like the Terraria idea, where you can, explore these dungeons, explore the sky, explore the ocean, and you'll find treasure, you'll find, monsters, you'll find boss, you'll find all types of things, and a lot of this are contributed by our community members to to create them. Yeah. So Z has like different ability. There's hundreds of ability that you can learn. And this goes into like the diamond and elements that you can attach with your Z. You can get very special element from your land, so that's why land is so important. So you can see like kind of the discovery mode and like different maps and so on that will come out within the game. Yeah. So that concludes my presentation. And if you have any question, feel free to ask. Yeah.
So, Mr. Block, I have a very generic question. So, can you share some perspective on what you think are the key elements to design a successful GameFi project?
I mean, it's that question is a good question, but it's also a hard question. I think right now there isn't any successful GameFi project. I think some of the key metric people are relying right now are like market cap, right, or like transaction volume or user count. But many of those are very hard to measure correctly. I think Steppen was a really successful model. Kind of using the 3 token model, having user from BSC and Solana, and potentially could explore with more token model onto other blockchain. And then we have project like Axie Infinity that kind of pioneered the dual token model, and with the narrative of kind of third world country and people playing the game and so on. But I feel like those examples are like GameFi 1.0 or even like GameFi 0.50 if there is that thing. So I think we're gonna see I think in kind of a new type of GameFi that has this equilibrium between people that actually want to play the game and at the same time you have people that want to kind of benefit from the game, right? By farm and dump and so on. So and it's a great time to build a game like this in a bear market because the community are really the biggest contributor here, where what they're contributing is not their money, their token or anything. What they're contributing is their time, right? And what they're getting back is that enjoyment of seeing, kind of their statue or their Z monster showing in the game. And I think that kind of pure enjoyment is creates a really strong bond and kind of attachment between player. And I think that's going to create something, really good. And a lot of the learning block is, looking at games like Star Citizen and that kind of derive from, Indiegogo and Kickstarter crowdfunding type and Terraria, which really was an indie studio building a small game and became really big. Yeah. So that's my answer. Yeah.
Which chain is this based on?
This is based on Ethereum right now.
Oh, okay.
So the NFTs are based on Ethereum. The team is also working on BSC as well. So the idea is that it's going to be like different server where when you play World of Warcraft, you have the EU server, you have the North America server, you have the Taiwan server. So it's going to have like the Binance server, the Ethereum, the Polygon, and so on. Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying to understand a little bit more the community aspect here. It sounds like the people who are in the community right now are sort of contributing like in-game assets and then the developers are sort of incorporating them in the fixed environments they're building. Have I got that right, or is it more?
Correct. Yeah, that you got that right. So, but it's a mix of both. There are community members that are developer, that are graphic designer, that makes the work a lot easier, and there are community members that are really good storyteller, and kind of build that design through words and sentence. So it's a mix of both. Yeah.
So is the path to, like, if you build an asset as a member of the community, then you basically are kind of offering it, and then it's up to the team sort of how to incorporate it in that sort of a sense? Or is there any way, like, is there any direct path that doesn't go through the team where people are building and deploying their stuff to the game directly, or is it always go through the developers?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So one of the thing about, it is permissionless. So if you own your land, for example, you can design anything you want through the voxel that you have. So there is a limitation of what you can build. So let's say if you want to build this chicken, for example, you need X amount of green voxel, white voxel, and so on, and you can farm these through the land that you own. But there's also a way where designer can design all these through the creator tool, and as someone who owns or has enough voxel can create them and basically use the design and then print them and by using the voxel. So, but there's also a room where all types of creativity can show up there, but it won't affect the main game where if you create something like an enormous, because voxel actually can affect your Z's ability. There's different type of voxel, like legendary voxel. So let's say a designer used like 100 legendary voxels to create a dragon. No one would have that amount of legendary voxel. So that dragon can show up in the back room, but it won't show up in the actual, real fight, PvE or PvP. Yeah.
All right, cool, thanks. So then the idea is you somebody designs them, either you or someone else, and then based on these voxels that are farmed off of the lands, they can be instantiated and sort of created and for real. So then when that happens permissionlessly, does that Z then like have some stats, and is it like ready to play with in the world? Like you can just jump in and start playing the game at that point?
Yeah. So once you create it, with the voxel, it has like the basic stats of whatever voxel that you use, but that stats is randomized. So let's say you use
Right.
10, legendary voxel to create this character, right? It will have a randomized, but it will be like legendary stats that will affect how you play the game. So you can think about right now, one legendary is 25 points, and then common is like 1 point. So if you use 50 common, but there's also a limitation on how many voxel you can use to create that Z monster. So let's say you use 50 or 20 common voxel and then 1 legendary, then that's 45 points. Then your stats will be based off of that 45 points. Your ability is different though. Ability comes from not like you could design a dragon that looks crazy, but it wouldn't spit out fire. In order to spit out fire, you'll need to buy these like gem that will give you these ability. Again, these ability can be, it's randomized that you can get out from lens. So when you in the mission, you will get like these quests where you will be able to get these gems that you can mix together, and then there's a chance that you get like a fire gem and so on, and that could affect how your Z's ability. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So each Z has like different type of ability that they can use to attack. Yeah. This
Right.
is the sorry.
No,
Yeah,
please.
So in terms of hardware requirements, how does it work?
Oh, so hardware is super easy. Like I'm using a really old iMac, it's 6 years iMac, and I can run this smoothly on it. The team spent a lot of time to make it browser based, because a lot of user wants browser and just connect with their MetaMask. So browser is the easiest way. But with like discovery mode that is launching, you all need a good hardware, or an iPhone, or an Android that you can run on mobile. But yeah, basically you can change the quality of the game, the graphic, so that you can run on pretty much any PC or Mac. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Block. If you're not familiar, as I'm not, with GameFi, other than having stumbled into some Gala games, which I don't even remember the name of anymore, what's like the first thing that I would want to do to get to know the game a little bit better? Because I'm hearing there's a lot of different things that you can eventually do. What's like the best way to get a running start?
Yeah. So I mean, the best way, is just to play the game, right? And the team always say, what we're seeing right now is just 1%, right? There's already 100 different battle that you can play, but then they're only considered this as 1%. There are so much more that they're building. There's also the community part that they're building as well. So So I think you can experience the 1% right now by going to the website and play the browser version. The creator tool will come soon, so you'll be able to start playing with that. The game isn't officially launched, so you are not earning any token right now. They will have a snapshot on some of the token that are earned for user that has a mask in their wallet, and they have the staking right now going on. So player that has bought their egg and staked it will be earning some token, future token that will airdrop to these player. Yeah, so the best way is to go to the website, click play on browser, and just roam around, and play the battles, earn, and then you can level up your Z as you have more ability, and you have the gem that you can play. Yeah, like I said, it's only 1%. Yeah.
Right. So really the best thing to do is to just explore the universe, like basically log in and wander around, get into battles, see what you find. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's hard to believe that they're able to get all of this into a browser. Like that's actually, I'm sitting here thinking, man, that must have been that's a heavy lift on the coding side.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. So I've played many. I was spending a lot of time in GameFi and kind of the geoeconomic last year, and very disappointed in many games. And this is one of the few games that I stumbled upon. I was like, wow, this is a really good build, and the team just keep delivering, because originally they only have the window version, and no one wants to download any exe files, right? So
yeah.
I was like, they got to have a browser version or an Android and iOS, and they were able to deliver. And I was saying I want like a Z that looks kind of like Minion, and this creature came out. So a lot of fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big challenge with GameFi. I haven't studied it enough to really think about it too much, but the little I have done, it seems like the first principle of a game is that it just has to be like kind of fun in and of itself. But then the second thing that is the FI part is, how does the tokenomics really integrate into the game and make it and feel natural and not, this really weird kind of artificial propping up. If you think of like, what was it, the Kingdom Jewel? I actually I forgot the name of it, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. That ended up just being essentially farming with some trappings of a game, but it wasn't in fact a game at all. So getting these two mechanics really working well and natively and not feel forced and contrived, I think is a big thing. So do you think that's something that Zverse is starting to figure out here?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And you mentioned a really good part about like the tokenomic, token utility, and so on. And I think a lot of that is they're kind of A/B testing, using like Mucking Nation to kind of test out the game theory behind it. And one idea that is really studying kind of the step-up model, but at the same time they believe there are new models, new token utility, and so on, that has way more utility. So right now in Zverse, they have they're thinking to do dual token. So you can kind of see on the screen that there is the yellow one, that's the Z token, and then the green one is called V, and you use V to upgrade your Z monster, and then you use Z to basically do in-game purchase and so on. So but again, they're not planning to launch the token, anytime soon. The idea is to really just build this and with the community member. Oh, did someone join the game? Seems like someone roaming around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is me. And I joined on mobile. Is that me in real time?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I
great.
see you running around.
Oh shit.
Cool.
We should all hang out here next time.
Wow.
That-
I'm testing out the Android. So I'm playing on Android right now.
Nice.
cool.
Awesome.
We should hang out on there. Can you chat? I guess
Yeah.
you must be able. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mr. Block is going to give out an airdrop today. So is that airdrop for everybody or only for the people who ask the questions?
Yeah, I mean, so the team told me that they can do two type of airdrops. So they have the egg, which is which you can stake. Once you have it, you can go to zverse.vault.inc and you can stake them, and that guarantee you for a future token, and you get points, which they will have more rewards. The first campaign just finished. They will give out more rewards. So and they also have this thing called the mask, which you need that to play the game. Is these things. So you need the Z mask to play the game, and on the window version. So I guess anyone that participate the event, just give us the address and we'll send you a mask. And then Bowl member and BanklessDAO member that has asked question, we can send out the egg. Yeah.
Sounds good. It's time for more questions. So if I ask two questions, that means I will get double airdrop.
I see people are chatting in the group. Oh.
So at the risk of sounding like I'm farming this, I have more questions.
You are.
To be fair, I can't help myself. So in terms of the gameplay mechanic for this game, like what's the sort of main playing mode that Zverse sees most people sort of participating in? Is it like is the idea that they're going to keep cranking out new PvE content and that's kind of like the main way to play it, or is it going to focus heavily on like an evergreen sort of PvP mechanic? And for the PvP mechanic, like I assume there's some kind of like rewards you get for winning or playing these battles, or is there like any kind of risk involved in that?
Correct. So for PvP, there are risks. So you can actually wage how many Z, how many V token, or any in-game item that you have in your inventory, you can wage them in the game in the PvP. So let's say we want to battle, we can right-click on each other, but you cannot do it now. But you will be able to right-click and then challenge and kind of list out what items you want to give out. So maybe someone has a unique type of voxel that you're just missing that one voxel, and then someone wants more Z token, and then say I want 50 Z token, and we can battle. And if I win, I get your unique voxel that I'm looking for. So that's PvP, and there's all type of PvP that's the community have given out. So that's the battle PvP. There's even like Sudoku that people and like chess and all type of PvP that the community has been giving to the team to build. So that is there's going to be multiple mode, but the main mode will be battling the Z. The PvE is the dungeon. Right now, it's a single player dungeon. But during the alpha, we have already tested out with team, so we can basically come here and then team up, and one guy will be the team leader, and we'll battle the maps together. So there are already 100, different level, and we can kind of going through these dungeons together. And that's just one. During the alpha, there were 2 and 3 different type of dungeon. That is like ocean dungeon, that is dark forest, and so on. But for people that don't want to battle around and just kind of want to chill, they can build their own, buy a land and just start building fun stuff inside the land, and they can sell these. So that's a creator economy where you can create, like for example, this thing or different type of Z, and you can actually sell these design, right? So it will show up in your lobby, but you cannot play that Z or battle with it. But let's say someone like me that they're not good at designing, then I can go there and say and offer X amount of voxel token and Z token to purchase that design, and it's already generated in there. I just need to do the action and then make the offer. And if the designer accepted it, the transaction happens, and the person gets the voxel and the Z token, and I get that beautiful design Z monster that I can show off and battle. Next thing I'll be going to find elements that can give me these abilities, right? So another good thing about owning a land is that there's a potential that you get these special gem and element that you can mix them together. So there are some really, really rare lands that are not these elements like water and forest. There are lands that are like space and like dark matter lands that are only 1 or 2. And the cool thing about those lands is that you will be able to farm these dark matter voxel and create these like dark matter Z. And the hard part of having these Z will be really strong, but the hard part to maintain these Z is that you'll need dark matter, create a potion. It's the herb that you will need, and basically that will encourage people to sell these potion if they own those lands. So I think if we look at Steppen, right, a big part of Steppen and Axie were the farmer economy, right? During the early days of Steppen, there were players that only focus on buying shoes and leveling up those shoes and sell them. They weren't, going outside to the park and walk around and earn GMT and GST. They were purely buying those shoes and mixing. We call them like shoe farmer in Taiwan and China. And they're the one that kind of jack up the shoe price. And it was really expensive. People were super FOMO about it. But it's just like I think that was a very natural, way, because if we look at like Easy, right? Easy by Kanye, it was never limited, but it was limited quantity per store, and people just buy them and create that kind of limitation. And the same thing will happen with like land owner, right? Land owner that realize that, oh, there's a certain boss fight that will need fire element. It might be a grass, or like a wood monster, and you need fire element to beat it. And they might own all the fire lands, and now they don't even have to play in battle. They just focus on selling those voxel or those fire potion. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Yeah.
So one thing that wasn't clear to me is that when you create one of these Z monsters, is that like totally unique? Is that like represented by an NFT that's then tradable?
Correct. So so some of these Z that you're seeing right now, they are unique, but you can see kind of a similarity, right? One has like a eye patch and one has a glasses and so on. These are going to be like generic Z that you will be able to find in Common X. But the unique Z are the one that you can design by yourself. You know, you want to put like you know, create one that looks like a Bored Ape or a Doodle or a Zuki. It is possible, but you just need those voxel to create them, and then once created, it will generate your unique ERC721 with its metadata that represent how much voxel that were used in creation. So voxel is basically the standard of measuring like what info you have, and the design is just going to be a file. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Should I write down the names, or how do I cannot see who asked questions from my screen. Maybe if you could DM me your name and addresses, that would be great on my Twitter. Yeah.
Sounds good. Do you have any more questions for Mr. Block? Viewers and GameFi in general?
Hey, who wants to join me in the dungeon? Going in there to battle monsters.
So this is like an example. You can create kind of your own arcade machine. So there's even like small mini games. So a lot of those are. That's a cool thing about Minecraft and Roblox and Terraria is that you can. There's no limit, right? So and we think that type of creator economy is going to create a cool community that's just going to kind of hang out and build things. Yeah.
Does Zverse have some kind of plan for how to prevent like over financializing the game, if you understand what I mean? Like, is it always going to be accessible to play in a meaningful way without needing to, like, is like how, to play Axie Infinity required like $2,000 at one point in time?
Yeah.
Is that something that the team is thinking about?
Yeah, so it doesn't require you, there are multiple type of way that you can start the game, right? So the PvE, when you start the game, you all have these potions that you can play the dungeon, right? So the first few game wouldn't be that hard, and there isn't a hard requirement, but you need to have a mask to join the game. The team has created multiple tasks that you can complete, where let's say there's 50 of these tasks, so there's going to be 50 free masks minted every day. These tasks, some are require a lot of human interactions to prevent bot and so on.
Yeah.
So other thing is that you can start the game without playing the PvP. You can challenge people on a chessboard game. You can challenge a person on a Sudoku or some of the mini game that you can earn. And so there isn't a hard requirement of how you want to start the game. If you're a cool designer, you can come in here and start building small things, and people will appreciate and give you token for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like one thing that they really want to avoid is kind of the human farmer. It's like a bad term, but basically, having players that are just there to play to earn and are kind of doing repetitive work. I think that really takes the soul out from a game. And so the target audience is everyone, but it's not really about rich or poor, because like if you have to spend $2,000, that's a really expensive game. Like I play Cyberpunk or Elden Ring, they're triple A game. It's only $50, right? So and I get 50 hours of content, and so it's not really about having that narrative where kind of people can play and earn a lot of money, but more importantly is experience and enjoy the game at the same time. Yeah, so the game, the ultimate goal is really become a game that anyone can come in, but it has a certain unique target audience, just like people that like to play Roblox or Terraria. I wasn't a big fan of Terraria, and I was, and I started playing, and I didn't realize that I like a 2D game. So, pixelated game has its own kind of unique target audience. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you, Mr. Block, for the presentation.
Awesome.
And further questions will end the meeting here today. So please DM Mr. Block to claim your airdrop. And thank you for joining the meeting today, and fun watching the Fed meeting later.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Black. Really fun presentation.
Yeah, really, really great. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Block. Here, everybody.